Mhm. So it said defilement comes from within.
Ooh. And we're on chapter 15, Matthew.
Defilement comes from within. Then the scribes and Pharisees who were from Jerusalem came to Jesus, saying, "Why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands when they eat bread." You
Mm.
know, I guess that is a systemic problem.
uh, let's see.
He answered and said to them, "Why do you also transgress the commandment of God because of your tradition?" He said, "Here, have this right back."
Right, right. He's
Right,
so
because
let
he handed him a pointy question.
yes, yes, exactly.
He's like, "Why are your disciples misbehaving?"
Exactly. So let's
And he's like, "Why you?"
fire you, yeah.
For God commanded, saying, "Honor your father and your mother, and he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death." But you say, "Whoever says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me is a gift to God, then he need not honor his father or mother. Thus you have made the commandment of God of no effect by your tradition." Hypocrisies. Well, did Isaiah prophesy to you, saying, "These people draw near to me, put their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me, and in vain they worship me, teaching a doctrine, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men."
Mm.
So, what is he saying?
So let's see. So I think, like you said, right, they're coming at him for his traditions, right?
I
But
think
he's
so.
saying, let's examine you, right? Kind of. And he's given them about honoring their father and mother.
Right.
Now, obviously, this is Jesus, so he knows that they're not doing both. So they're obviously not honoring their father and mother from, or Jesus wouldn't have rebuked them on that.
So
But
that's what he's
let's,
calling him out on
I believe so, from what it's saying. Now let's see if we can figure out why, right?
further along.
Yeah, so in 5, you say, "Whoever says to his father and mother, whatever profit you might have received from me is a gift to God." So let's see, I have to say that again. Whoever says to it, so they're saying to their father or mother, whatever profits you, mom, might have received from me is a gift to God, that he need not honor his father and mother. I should have read 6 with it, probably. Those you have made the commandment of God of no effect by your tradition. So somehow they're not honoring their father and mother. I unfortunately haven't totally grasped this thing yet, but don't worry, let's ponder it together.
Well, can you play out 5 in your head? So, like, whoever says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me is a gift to God. Is that saying that he would understand?
But they're saying that if
Like, he
anything, you
doesn't, you honor your father and mother because they are supposed to know better.
and because it's a commandment and God said so as well.
But if your child already understands the commandments,
But they're saying, or they seem to be saying, I'm a gift from God to you, so I don't need to honor you because I'm a gift of God. Is that what they're saying?
I think so. But then he says hypocrisies. That's not possible. So maybe you can't understand it because it's not made to be understood because it was supposed to be a hypocrisy.
Because in
Because
Mark,
then he's calling out the words of Isaiah.
Okay, so how about we go to Mark, because Mark says the same story, because I think that'll help us. The same,
Hopefully.
the same thing. So Mark 7. Sorry about the dog. Hey, it's okay, doggy. It's okay. It's raining outside too. So there's all kinds of stuff happening, but people moving around and. So if you go to Mark 7 and start at 10, probably, or 9,
All
9,
too
10.
well you reject the commandment of God, that you may keep your tradition. For Moses said, Honor your father and your mother, and he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. But you say, if a man says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me is a korban,
Yeah. And
that
then
is a
it,
gift to God, then you no longer let him do anything for his father or mother, making the word of God of no effect through your tradition which you have handed down, and many such things you do. Are they acknowledging the presence of God? Like if
they're
you're
just
saying
saying,
to your
yeah,
parents that this is a gift to God.
which is one thing, but then they're no longer obeying their fathers and mothers, I think, because they think that their children is a gift, which is, children are a gift, but that's doesn't mean that you don't obey them, right? Because that's still true, right? You still obey your parents and honor your parents. I think now, forgive me while you ponder, John. I have to go outside for a second because of the rain, but don't worry, I'll be back and you can share your pondering.
Okay. Share my pondering. I'm trying to like think of the circumstances that this would be under. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, it sounds a lot like somebody's being sold into slavery. Because who would be receiving anything for
I'll be on there in a second. How are you doing with your pondering? Oops, Frosty,
We've made
sorry.
one bold accusation thus far.
Lord guide us with our pondering.
Um,
It is really raining outside. All right. I mean, I think, where did you get? Or do you, I think the
so
main
like
thing,
this is what it sounds like to me, and we haven't read further, so it's like, okay.
okay, and we
But
could read.
like for me, we need to read further before I say anything. Because
Okay,
like
let's read
right
further.
now it sounds like somebody's being sold into slavery. That was the conclusion I came to.
Oh, gotcha.
As
Okay, well,
if
let's see.
you don't need to honor your father and mother if they sell you. And
Oh,
then the money that they would be receiving from you would be a gift to God. And that person no longer needs to honor their mother and father if they
hmm,
had literally sold you.
okay. I can't say that I seen that sold the part into slavery, but
Well, this is where I'm getting it from.
okay. Oh, the prophet, is it?
But you say, if a man says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me
Oh,
is a gift from God. What
now,
what else?
I mean, I think it's,
Unless he's working, child labor, which is fine.
I mean, it could be just a blessing to, the joy that children bring. And Um,
Right, I don't know what I mean by prophet.
he might have gone too deep on that, maybe, but I
Pulled down
understand
one
what you.
hole.
Well, maybe you're totally right because sometimes I'm totally off this.
But I feel like there might be some clarification.
Yes, I hear you. I mean, I don't think that Jesus is condoning selling your children either. So like, if we think about Jesus, that doesn't sound like he would condone that either, right?
Right.
But I understand what you're saying. Oh, but that's all right. Let's keep going. So don't mind me because
We got to
I
figure
do
out the
understand
rest of
where
what he
you're saying
said.
any profit you might have received from me. That's where you got that part. So I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
So
When he had,
let's go
so
ahead.
yeah, the next part. When he had called all the multitudes to himself, he said to them, hear me, everyone, and understand. There is nothing that enters a man from outside which can defile him, but the things which come out of him, those are things that defile a man. If anyone has ears to hear, let him hear. When he had entered a house away from the crowd, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. So he said to them, are you thus without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatever enters a man from outside cannot defile him, because it does not enter his heart, but his stomach, and is eliminated, thus purifying all foods? And he said, what comes out of a man that defiles a man? For from within, out of the heart of man, proceeded evil thoughts, adulterers, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lewdness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile a man.
Mm,
Are they too concerned with literal things? He's like, is
yeah,
that maybe? I would say that if I was maybe a little frustrated.
like Jesus is frustrated with them. Is that what you mean?
I
Them big
mean, my first reaction is like, I talk in parables. How could you think I'm talking about food, which ends up as like going into your stomach and leaving your body? I'm talking about like the mental things that defile you.
spiritual food.
That,
Right,
right, because the food that you eat, well, it's basic survival, but then we talk about interactions in the world that they're living in, and like he goes
right.
through all the actual things that come out of that, which are the things that I think he is trying
He's
to talk.
trying to make sure that they're really pondering the really important stuff and not
Right. Because
the little
he,
the worldly things in a way, kind of the things that he's not saying that they're wrong, but he's trying to make sure that they're concentrating on the right one, the right things.
right.
And if they have them covered, then they could concentrate on the little things. But they're still working on the big things, maybe, and not just them, but us too.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
all right. 15.
Let's see.
Um,
I was just looking at a commentary
oh,
quick.
this is the other one then. So when he called the multitude to
Okay.
himself, he said to them, hear and understand. Now what goes into the mouth defiles a man, but what comes out of the mouth, this defiles a man.
What
Then
reading?
this
Sorry.
is in back in Matthew where we were supposed to be reading.
Oh, sorry. You were reading from. Oh, okay. So
I read from Mark.
okay. Yes. Okay. Gotcha. that's fine because it's very similar, but a tiny bit different. I did get lost and I thought you had a different version for a minute. But that's cool. That's cool. So read it from Matthew again, but that's cool because they are connected, you know.
Mm. Uh, so now what goes into the mouth defiles a man. Not what goes into the mouth defiles a man. Not food. Not what we're talking about. Because I think they get caught up in like, oh, we can't eat this, we can't eat that, we're sinning. Meh, meh. And it's like I told you, and I've said this before, it's like we get caught up in the words. It's like you can't say God or Jesus because you're taking his name in vain. You're getting caught up in like the super duper small things. That is what causes the conflict and the lack of communication between people.
You
It's
gotta,
like, well, it's a point of contention, and it shouldn't be
right.
a lot
Division.
smoother. Yes, exactly. And it should be smooth, but it's not because of things like that.
Mm,
Because it should be about what is coming out of your mouth.
Jesus now.
That's
Or
what we
out.
do to each other. We like you have no other reason to speak than to convey a message.
Right.
Otherwise, you should keep your mouth shut. Not talking to everybody. That's just how Jesus lived his life.
I understand. Yes.
And it says multiple times that like he didn't talk.
When he was led to the slaughter. And
Well, I mean, at some point, but
right. He didn't. Right. I got you. So he talked about what's important.
right. And there was,
Wow.
I think there was more to speech that we don't understand and the effects of it. And maybe
Yeah.
he did leave those things behind, but we didn't. But like, speech is so easily, and it's not even like it's a misunderstanding of what speech is
It's
because
more powerful.
you let your emotions get caught up in your speech, which it's not supposed to be. Your emotions and speech, I think, are supposed to be two different systems that are run independently.
Mm. So we let it come out of our mouth.
But because of the lack of accountability in our minds over the years, it's gotten to the point where that line no longer exists.
Wow.
And then you think about the separation of church and state, which is eerily whittling thinner and thinner by day. So,
Are you looking for peace?
well, let me read this and then we'll start off in the next one.
Okay.
Because we already read this, but this is
From
the
Matthew.
actual one we were supposed to read.
Right. So there's always nuggets of information.
Um, so what comes out of your mouth defiles a man. Then his disciples came and said to him, do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard this saying? But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted will be uprooted. Let them alone. They are blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind leads to the blind, both will fall into a ditch. Then Peter answered and said to him, explain this parable to us. So Jesus said, are you still also without understanding? Do you not yet understand that whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and is eliminated? But those things which proceeded out of the mouth come from the heart, and they defile a man. For out of the heart proceeded evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemies. These are all things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands does not defile a man.
Mm.
So it's like you guys are worried about the same, like the wrong thing. You're worried about the wrong thing. And you
Right.
should be worried about finding some peace within yourself and not about what other people are doing.